Individuals with dark personality traits like psychopathy or Machiavellianism have a heightened connection to certain types of fictional characters, most notably villains and antiheroes, at least according to a new study published in the Psychology of Popular Media journal, which sheds some light on why people like villains sometimes as much or more than heroes. And the short version of this, before we jump into the details, is that the research suggests that antagonistic personality traits like Machiavellianism, narcissism, psychopathy, and even everyday sadism, collectively known as dark tetrad traits, are associated with admiring and identifying with these types of characters, which sheds a lot of light on a lot of fan communities. You know that guy who dresses as the Joker all the time and kind of looks up to his actions and maybe views the Joker as some sort of admirable anti-hero that's just, justifiably lashing out against society and writes fan fictions all day and stuff like that, and then has a whole bunch of erratic behaviors later in life. Well, as it turns out, that guy could or is more likely to be experiencing one of these dark tetrad personality traits. It doesn't mean they're a psychopath or a murderer or a monster, because everything's on a spectrum, but they're further down that spectrum than most people. So the details on this are that individuals with more antagonistic traits are more likely to admire and view themselves as similar to antiheroes. Specifically, psychopathy and sadism demonstrated the strongest correlations to people liking antiheroes, and that's because they often kind of work in a moral gray area and have questionable behaviors. Machiavellianism and narcissism were also linked to positive evaluations of antiheroes, but the associations were somewhat weaker. A very similar thing was seen in villains. However, the associations with villains was considerably weaker than with antiheroes, especially for traits like Machiavellianism, and it's probably because that while villains share traits with antiheroes, they're also overtly malevolent and therefore sort of harder to have redeeming qualities or identify with. And they also found that heroes were more admirable overall. Not as many people liked anti-heroes or villains, and they were not at all associated with antagonistic traits. Kind of an interesting study, and what I really can't stop thinking about is the sheer amount of, this is pejorative, what I would describe as crazy people that love Harley Quinn and love the Joker and love all these evil, bad characters and Stormfront, who I can't even show a picture of here, and just sort of seem to idealize them. Those might be people with some dark traits to keep an eye on.